What's up, my guys? What's up, my girls? Welcome back to the Dani Flow podcast. It's good to be with you. I'm about to drop a podcast on you. Wholesome people. So I think from a very young age, we learned somehow, could have been a song that we listened to, could have been a movie that we watched, could have been a TV show that we watched, something we heard on the radio, something somebody that we looked up to said, something we read. It just, the origin could be one place, could be many places, but we all know what a hater is. And it's something negative to be a hater. Nobody likes a hater, right? And as a Catholic, your biggest hater, your biggest enemy by default. You got three enemies. Biggest enemy is the devil. Number one. Doesn't want you to have a relationship with God, doesn't want you to get to heaven, wants you to go to hell with him. Right? For Catholics and for non-Catholic Christians, Protestants, non-denominational Christians, things like that, Eastern Orthodox are lumped in this. Second biggest hater is actually the culture and the way that the world thinks, because usually, I don't want to say usually, but a lot of what the culture values, a lot of what society values is against, what Jesus and the church value and what's important to them. And then your third enemy is yourself, right? You can't really control what the devil wants to tempt you with and what kind of, for lack of better terminology, what kind of tricks he has up his sleeve. You can't really control what society and what the culture values. Like, that's just up to them. But when it comes to yourself, like, you get in your own way. And so, like, I think this episode is long overdue, because even though I feel like we're taught that there's people that hate on us, and it could be people in our own family, it could be people in our friends, it could be like a blatant enemy, right? Somebody you don't get along with, someone you don't like, could be a coworker, it could be a teacher, it could be anybody. And we're taught to avoid haters, and we're taught not to be haters. But I feel like nobody teaches us, or I feel like not a lot of people teaches us that we're probably our biggest hater, or we're maybe not necessarily the biggest hater, but like we're the hater that we can actually control, because you can't control other people, and you and I have more control over our lives than like other people. And just to give you just to use myself as an example, right? So this is the third episode that I've uploaded consecutively. This is the third Sunday that I've uploaded an episode, right? So I didn't record or upload an episode from like May of 2022 to February of 2023. So what is that? June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January. So for 8 months I didn't record or upload an episode. I promise you, there was no hater out there that prevented me from doing that. I didn't do that because I didn't prioritize it. Like, I got in my own way. There wasn't a hater out there stopping me, right? That's one example. Another example is like, so today I'm in my basement gym. So today I had what's called a pull workout. So the what you do is in the title. So it's pulling movements, right? So I sumo deadlifted. I did some pull-ups. I did some Yates rows. If you don't know what a Yates row is, I have YouTube shorts on those. And I did some lat pull downs. I hadn't worked out in a week. And I promise you, over the last week, there was no hater out there. I mean, I don't even know if I have. Like, I don't even know. Like, if people out there are hating on me, I'm not even aware of it. But the reason that I didn't work out over this last week was, again, because I didn't prioritize it. You know, there's something that I could have done to make a workout happen and not wait a week to do it. Throughout the week, I promise you, I woke up early like every day. And the reason why I didn't work out wasn't because a hater stopped me. It was because I wasted too much time in the morning before I went to work, so then I didn't get it done. That's just plain and simple. And I feel like maybe we're quick to accept that there's haters out there stopping us from doing something because it's just easier to justify why we didn't do something. You know, like, just like, if I keep using myself an example, like, I remember that I didn't start going to for my associate's degree. I have an associate's of arts from like a local community college. So I didn't start going to college until I was 20. And I went for a semester and then stopped for another year. So I waited 2 years after high school to go. And then I just went one semester. Like, I remember I took like a couple classes, and then I took another year off, and then I, went back again. And like, I promise you, there's nobody out there stopping me from taking classes, from going to college, from even like succeeding. It was me. Like, I was getting in my own way. But it's easier to say that, like, people are stopping me. But it's not. It's like, you're stopping you, I'm stopping me. Like, the example that I gave, that this week I woke up early every day. Well, like, there isn't, if you go to sleep and you set your alarm for 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m., whatever it may be, and that alarm goes off, you are going to either choose to, if you're really tired, you're just going to sleep through it. But if you hear the alarm, then you're either going to get up and stay up and start your day, or you're going to hit snooze and go back to sleep. That choice is like in your control. That's not a hater's choice. A hater isn't making you like stay in bed if that's what you choose to do. Or a hater is not making you. So like the big, it's February, right, of 2023. So a lot of people made resolutions, and I think most people by the end of January, like, they quit. And that's a choice that people make. That's not a choice that a hater makes for them. So like, the entire point is that we are the ones, like, I'm the one getting in my way, and whatever it is that you're trying to do, like whatever goal you have, whatever you're trying to accomplish, whatever mission or purpose or whatever it is that you're working on, I mean, sure, like, in some cases, of course there are haters, but I think in the majority of the cases, especially from my experience, it's ourselves. Like, we're getting in our own way. I would say it's got to be somewhere between like 66% to like 95% of the time it's us, and like maybe somewhere between like 5 to 33% and that's just a different way of saying, like, the majority of the time it's us, and the minority of the time it's somebody else, right? And that philosophy I think has always been there because I'm 30, about to be 31. So, I've seen the evolution of like social media. Before we had dial-up internet and we had AIM, which was instant messenger, and then we had MySpace, and then Facebook, and then Instagram, and then Twitter, and then TikTok, and then YouTube. And so there's always been some form of content, you know? And in all these forms of contents, people, I mean, I see it today, even like on Instagram, talk about haters, but I think we need to forget we had one consistent message in all this about haters is like you should ignore the haters. That's true, but you shouldn't ignore the ways in which you're hating on yourself and you're sabotaging yourself and you're ruining things for yourself. Like at some point you have to like self-reflect and recognize and think of all the ways that you're hating on yourself. You know what I mean? Because it's like me. Like the reason why I worked out today is because I was like, okay, you didn't have a good reason to take a week off and you took a week off. So it stops now. Like I recognized that it was me getting in my own way and I did something about it. The same reason why I started re-uploading podcast episodes, because there's no reason. I mean, I have a way to do it, and there's nobody stopping me. So why am I not doing it? Just because I'm not, because I'm self-sabotaging. So I think that you should think about that, and I think that I should think about that, and that we should think about it often, and that if we do have haters in our lives, definitely ignore them, right? But we're in more control over ourselves than other people, and we need to recognize the bad choices that we're making. So I guess another example that I can think of is I was unhappy at a job, and it was a job that I was good at, but I just didn't enjoy it, right? And I think just from talking to people, it seems like a lot of people are in that situation, and it's easy, like I said, to say that it's the haters keeping you down, but no one was stopping me from applying at other places and interviewing at other places and trying to find a way out. It was me who was too lazy to apply places, ask if anybody was hiring, if anybody knew if anybody was hiring, right? I think a lot of people would rather blame the haters, like the anonymous, like I said, I'm not even aware, like I don't even think, I can't name you one person who I know is hating on me. Thank God. Maybe you do know someone like that, but like I said, it's best to ignore them. But I bet you if you sat down, and wrote down all the ways that you're sabotaging yourself and all the bad choices that you're making to prevent you from maybe like me. When I first started this podcast, I wanted to upload episodes every week. I even wanted to, upload some in English and some in Spanish, right? Why haven't I done that? Well, it's because of the choices that I've made. And if you sat down and wrote down all the bad choices that you're making and all the bad habits that you have and all the ways that you're sabotaging yourself, you'd be surprised. I think you'd be surprised how long the list would be, and you'd be surprised how quickly you'd come up with that list. And not to negate that some people are in bad situations. I understand that, everyone goes through things, everyone's gone through, suffering and pain and obstacles and stuff like that. But that doesn't mean that on a day-to-day basis, you can't use your autonomy and use your free will to make better choices, even if they're small choices, because those small choices like add up, because the small bad choices add up. It was the small bad choices that I was constantly making that prevented me from constantly uploading an episode every week, right? It was the small bad choices that I made this week that, resulted in not working out for a week. It's the same thing with like eating healthy. Like we choose, not we choose, I choose, you choose to eat things that we know aren't going to result in us feeling better and looking better. And we don't want to blame ourselves. And it's easier to maybe put that on, I'm not losing weight because of the haters. I'm not looking the way that I look because of but it's not true, and I think that we need to constantly remind ourselves of that, especially like right now, because even though we're 2 months into the year, like we still have 10 months. We can do a lot in 10 months if we put our mind to it. So let me know what you think. Do you agree that that most of the time it's really you that's hating on you and not somebody else? I think it's true for me, and I think I get in the way of myself, and it's something that I think it's something that I'm constantly work on. I think it's something that I'm constantly going to work on, and it's if you agree with me, agree with this assertion that I'm making, and you want to do something about it, it's going to be like a constant thing until the day you die, because you're always going to want to get in the way of yourself, and so you have to fight, you have to figure out a way to not get in the way of yourself, not make excuses for yourself when you wouldn't do that. We really love. Okay, one last example. So the main thing that I do, my occupation is I'm a screen printer, and I've been a screen printer the last year, and I had never screen printed before. The person that trained me has been screen printing like 30 years, which is my age. So basically all of my life so they know what they're doing, right? So they've been teaching me, and there comes a point to where they kind of let you, if you've ever trained somebody, there comes a point where you're just, okay, you kind of let them have a little bit more freedom and see if they can apply what you taught them, right? Well, because I've never done it before, I would try and do what I was taught, and sometimes I would do it right and sometimes I wouldn't. Now, it doesn't just apply to screen printing, but it applies to everything, right? So like if I do a job or a task or something and everything comes out right, everything, right? Just everything that you can think of comes out right. It's like perfect, right? And someone says, good job, well done, whatever. You're willing to take, like, no questions asked. You're like, yes, I'm the one who did it. You don't start saying, well, it really wasn't me. It was the machine that it was just acting right, or it was this, or it was that. You just, yes, I did a great job. I'm the best, whatever. But if you do a task or a job or whatever and things go wrong, we don't automatically accept the responsibility and accountability. We start saying, oh, this didn't go right, that didn't go right, whatever, whatever. But when everything goes right, we are willing to take the accountability and responsibility. And I think there's a parallel there with like the quote unquote haters. When we get in the way of ourselves and we're stopping ourselves from doing what we're supposed to do, doing what we know we should do, it's easier to just say they don't want me to win or they're hating on me, blah, blah, blah. But it's us who are in control of our choices and our habits. And so I think we just need to make that shift and just remember that, like, if you let's that's what I'm saying. So like, let's say you do have a New Year's resolution for this year and you stick with it, and then at the end of 2023 you accomplish what you set out to accomplish, you're 100% gonna be like, yeah, it was me, I did the work, blah blah blah, like, thank you, whatever, whatever. But if you don't accomplish it, watch how quick you are to be like, it was this, it was that preventing me. Do you get what I'm saying? And I think we need to get away from that, because if we're always blaming something else, then it's almost like determined that we can't do it, whatever it is we're trying to do. But if we say, no, it's me, I've got to figure out what choice I need to make different to get even just a little bit closer. Because you can't do everything in a day, but whatever little thing it is that you need to do to get closer, you could just do your best at like doing that little thing. So I hope that helps. Thanks for listening to the 54th episode of the Danny Flow podcast. If you've listened to all 54 episodes, you're definitely a Danny Flowist. If you don't know what a Danny Flowist is, go back and listen to like the first maybe like 5 episodes in English, because there are some Spanish episodes back then. If you made it this far, make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to leave me a comment. If you're watching and or listening on YouTube, make sure to share the video. If you're listening on the audio platforms, Spotify, Apple, make sure you leave a review. Make sure you share the episode with someone that you think it could help. Until next week, my guys and my girls, my dear and beloved Danny Flowers, remember what Venerable Archbishop Fulton J. Sheen taught us: your life is worth living. Peace.